Hey guys, so today I have a review for you on the book Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I borrowed this book from the library, and I don't tend to do reviews on books that I borrow from the library, but I felt this one was definitely worth reviewing. I had quite the experience reading it, so yeah, let me tell you how it went. So first of all, this book is a mystery psychological thriller, and it follows investigative journalist Scott McGrath. Right at the beginning of the book, a woman named Ashley Cordova commits suicide, and Scott knows that Ashley Cordova is the daughter of a reclusive director, Stanislaus Cordova. Scott has targeted Stanislaus with sort of scandalous, slanderous things in the past, got in big trouble for it, and so he used to be this really highly regarded journalist, now not so much. So when Stanislaus' daughter turns up dead, he doesn't necessarily believe it's a suicide, and so Scott uses his skills to try and figure out what actually happened. Scott teams up with two others, Nora and Hopper, who have their own set of skills, and the three of them go and try and find out who this Stanislaus guy really is and what really happened to Ashley Cordova. And that's all I'm gonna say in terms of the plot. There is so much happening here, I couldn't even begin to give you a really good synopsis of the story because this book is 600 pages long and a lot goes down. That being said, I loved this book. I had the best time reading it. So good that this is definitely going to be on my top 5 list this year when I do my wrap-up in December. This book had so many cool elements to it, and when I mean cool elements, I'm specifically referring to when you looked through the pages. Sometimes Scott would be looking at files, police files, newspaper articles, website pages, and instead of just describing the page to you, it was actually shown on the page of the book. So you'd see the file with the scribbles on it, you'd see the actual web page, you'd see the note that somebody handed to him and the little writing that somebody had written on it. It was, oh, I love books like that. There was a book that I read when I was a kid and that I loved because it had those elements in it, and taking that and putting it into an adult novel just worked so well for this book. It was very gripping. To keep a 600-page book interesting, you gotta have twists and turns, and those definitely happened many times. You'd be on one track and then somebody would say something would happen, it would completely change your view of Ashley, of Stanislaus. Speaking of Ashley and Stanislaus, Ashley is dead. Stanislaus is a reclusive person, so you never get to see them in this novel, and yet they hold such a power over you and you feel so much about them. You really want to know who they are. It's just, it works so well to keep this novel gripping and keep that mystery element going. Lots of what the fuck, holy crap moments. Just all of that came together to create a really fantastic novel. There were, as there always are, a couple things that I didn't love so much. The first was that there were some points that were kind of boring. They do a lot of talking to a lot of different people, and sometimes the chapters were just pages and pages of somebody talking about a story that they had to tell, and those parts tended to drag a bit more. It was also a little convenient that Scott was able to team up with two people and just so easily kind of come together. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily happen in real life, and it didn't really bother me that much, but it is a little bit, idealized in that situation that you would just happen to stumble across these two people who would, work so well with you and kind of bring your story together. But at the same time, all of those characters are flawed, so it's not a perfect combination, but it's a little lucky. The ending, I feel, especially with like mysteries and even psychological thrillers, can be really kind of sometimes, but this one I was actually quite happy with. When I first finished the book, I wasn't quite sure how I felt, but now that it's been a little bit, I'm actually really satisfied because there was such an intensity and there was no way that it could sort of fall together perfectly. Not that you even wanted it to fall together perfectly, but I thought the ending was very suitable for the story. It didn't feel awkward or that the author just decided to change directions at the last moment. I thought it worked really well. So if you haven't figured it out already, 5 out of 5 stars for Night Film. If you're looking for a mystery or a psychological thriller, definitely pick this up. But if you're also just looking for a gripping read with lots of really interesting characters who are likable but also have realistic flaws, this is a good book to pick up. Just do yourself a favor, flip through it, check it out, and let me know what you think. If you have read the book, feel free to leave some comments down below. Obviously, be really careful with spoilers for this book. And if you have any questions about the book, also leave those down below. As always, all of our links are in the doobly-doo. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.